Okay, this is part two of COVID being bigger than an American phenomenon. For those who maybe didn't listen to the first part, I'm just making the point that this is not the roundup of a pedophile ring. This is not a Weinstein operation of, arresting the elite white folks and holding them in secret prisons because of the information that Weinstein and the one in jail revealed. I say that because that's what I've been hearing people say and reading online, and it's crazy as far as I'm concerned. Um, it just speaks to the idea that many Americans have no idea that there's a larger world beyond America's shores. America's not is not the whole world, but Americans, some, not all, but some of us don't seem to understand that. So this COVID-19 is affecting the planet in very serious, deep, disturbing ways. It's knocking a lot of things out of sync. A lot of businesses are they closing major hotels in Malaysia right now. It's a very, very disturbing trend, but it's the new world. And so the point is, it's not just an American thing, and I want to share information from the news here just to give a little broader perspective. Restoring confidence, key to tourism recovery. This is from the Straits Times in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And just give insight how this thing is actually affecting other nations other than America. It's affecting the whole world, actually. So this just gives a little insight on a different sector. The once vibrant Malaysian tourism sector, which has been hit hard by the crippling effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, will need to prepare for one of its steepest recovery slopes in history. Malaysian Association of Tour and Travel Agents President Ling, I can't pronounce the whole name, said restoring and boosting confidence to travel will be key to the industry's recovery. Recovery in tourism and travel globally will be highly dependent on a number of factors, most prominent of all the easing of travel restrictions by governments. Given that the situation is highly unpredictable, indications are that the tourism industry in Malaysia in general will only see a marked recovery starting to happen 12 to 24 months from now, he told Star Biz. That's a year or two. It only started recovering. Tan said once the movement control order has been lifted, that's the lockdown, the tourism sector will have to adapt to a new norm of traveling and living. Already many tourism businesses are beginning to tackle this emerging norm positively in preparation for when things start to normalize. Restoring and boosting confidence to travel will be the key to the industry's recovery, and this will start with the return of domestic tourism. We will start with group travel of less than 6 persons and thereafter corporate travel. At the same time, we will need to put in place or upgrade our tourism infrastructure to ensure that the highest standards of health and safety are met. With these key initiatives in place, Tan said Tourism Malaysia will then be in good position to ramp up promotional activities and business-to-business engagements to reestablish Malaysia as one of the more viable destinations to visit. Tourism Malaysia reported 26.1 million tourists into Malaysia last year, with the top 3 contributors being Singapore 10.16 million, Indonesia 3.62 million, and China 3.11 million. According to Tan, things were still looking good for the Malaysian tourism sector in January. No one, however, could have foreseen the severity of the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the situation rapidly deteriorated in February and March, both for the inbound and outbound markets, he said. On March 18, Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister, can't say his name, Sukri, announced the cancellation of Visit Malaysia 2020, the same day that the government imposed the movement control order to tackle the country's COVID-19 infections. Tan said the implementation of the movement control order and travel restrictions by other countries brought business to a standstill at the end of the first quarter. Early indications estimated that travel agencies alone suffered close to 500 million ringgit in liabilities and losses. That's $125 million approximately. tour company Apple Vacations was severely hit by the impact of the pandemic as early as February, its group managing director said. Since February, we recorded zero revenue and significant disruption to our businesses due to the COVID pandemic. We received 6,000 passenger cancellations, amounting to sales loss of 50 million ringgit for forward bookings from March to year end. He believes that the tourism sector will likely recover at the end of the year, assuming that most countries reopen their borders and a vaccine is found by then. Traveling is an essential part of many people's lifestyle. In any case, I believe that the Asian market will be the first to recover compared with Western countries. Meanwhile, Paulo something, a leading travel management and services group in Malaysia, also started seeing an impact to its business early in the year. The first quarter was promising only for the month of January. After Chinese New Year, similar to most businesses, things started declining when news of COVID-19 crisis broke out, said Chief Executive Officer Yap. By mid-February, many customers started asking for postponements of their travels or seeking to cancel their trips. Overall, in the first quarter, we could see a downtrend in sales volume. At the moment, Yap doesn't think the lifting of the movement control order will have a significant impact on the local tourism business. Lifting of movement control order doesn't necessarily mean reopening of our borders. Until that happens, tourism will not easily see much change. We foresee things starting slowly again by July or August, and for things to return to normal sometimes next year. Last month, StarBiz reported that the local hotel industry has already laid off 6% of its employees, with a growing number of its staff taking unpaid leave and pay cuts as the sector crumbles from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Malaysian Association of Hotels, based on a sampling size of 41,000 employees, 20% were already given pay cuts, while 26% are on unpaid leave. The highest number of layoffs were in Malacca, 15%, Johor, 12%, someplace else 12%, another place 11%, and some places have yet to report any layoffs. Chief Executive Officer Yap said the hotel sector is already facing a number of challenges as it is. The most severe concern here reflects on the lack of enforcement of illegal activities in the tourism industry, such as illegal hotels and home sharing, Airbnb, which is what I do, that are operating above law, contributing no taxes, and that is a leakage to the industry, he said. Another article looking at innovative ways to bring tourists back. I just wanted to read a couple of articles, and they have them in the paper every day, and I'm sure where you are too, of the impacts that this thing is having. It ain't just in America. It's having impacts in America that are devastating. People standing in line for food, but they standing in line for food in Pattaya, Thailand too. They thought they'd never see that, you know. It's a global thing. It's hitting industries across the board. It's a massive thing. They're already saying, well, I won't go into anything any further. I just wanted to share a perspective from Malaysia and showing just one sector, the tourism sector, which is one of the main ones that's being affected. And it's a global thing. It ain't just Las Vegas shut down. It's global international travel that's shut down. It's hotel industry being crippled. It's restaurants and theater and all kind of stuff on a global scale. This ain't no pedophile ring in the U.S. This ain't no hoax. It's a serious thing. It ain't just about you getting sick or you getting the virus or bringing it home to your family and grandma dying, although that's happening too. People barging in with guns and automatic weapons, looking ignorant and stupid before the world, even though they don't see it themselves. It's bigger than that. It's not an American thing. It's a global humanity crisis emergency that's affecting industry and business and government and politics on a global scale. You can read it in the news. You go online and find out about it. It's not a local thing. It ain't no hoax thing. Whether it's man-made or whether it's nature, it don't matter. The impact is real, and it's real serious and real deep, and it's global. Ain't nobody rounding up pedophiles and shutting the whole world down. No, it's not that. Ain't no 5G thing either. Okay, peace and blessings.